Wow. Wow. It's got spice to it. My wife is going to go nuts over this thing. You know it's a high ABV wine.
2, 1, 0, and lift off.
Wow, I can't even describe this. It's spicy, and you get that smoky taste after the initial taste.
Get wilder, we could get a little wilder. Take some clothes, but leave our phones. It's better with someone than it is alone. Let's get wild.
All right, welcome back to the channel. Did you see all these pineapples and this pineapple wine? We're doing something special today, something I never done on this channel. We're making a spicy wine. I'm also making a Chipotle pineapple wine, which is in my wine book. You can follow along if you have the book to this recipe. And most of all, I'm gonna show you how to make a high ABV wine, because with that Chipotle pineapple wine, I want it to be spicy and to be a sipping wine. And what we're trying to do with these peppers is to get that Chipotle flavor, that smokiness into our pineapple wine. And yes, this pineapple wine has won first place. You can see it right here. This is all the recipe right here. And on the opposite side, we got the metric conversion from all my international subscribers. Now, when you make pineapple wine, or as a matter of fact, for any wine, ripe fruit is a key, because that's just gonna bring out the sweetness. You see how these are starting to turn yellow, and I smell them all through the house? I know they're ready. All right, we got our pineapples. Here's our additives. We'll show you these as we go. I got links to all this stuff in my Amazon store, linked in the description if you need any of this. And to make it high ABV wine, you all know we better get some sugar. But always remember, when we use sugar in our wine, all our recipes calls for 2 pounds for every gallon of wine. Now, for the high ABV wine, I want to use 2.5 pounds, because I want to make sure that we're filling that carboy up with our juice and so forth. So that's why I'm increasing the amount, because I know it's going to be less water. Now, all we can do is we're going to add our sugar in here, into each one. This is the small batch. And I'm going to add equal parts of water. And there's that additional sugar that we need for this high ABV wine. All right, there's our water. Again, all we're trying to do is cover this. This amount of water does not matter. It matters when we get to the next step and we dial that ABV in. Now, all I'm gonna do is constantly stir this and bring it close to a boil, and keep stirring it. You don't want to burn your sugar. You want to stop when it becomes crystal clear. See how it's turning clear now? This is an overhead shot. I just wanted to show you. But now we're going to turn the heat off and just let it cool to room temperature. Now, make sure you're sanitizing in this hobby. If you're going to fail, it's because you didn't sanitize. All your cutting surfaces, your bucket, that's all I'm going to discuss. I got a whole video on this, on sanitation. All right, I don't want to bore you with cutting all these pineapples, but just a general rule: you want to cut off the tops, you want to cut off the bottoms, you want to remove the skin, and then chunk your pineapple into about 2 or 3 inch chunks. And you know, if you need extra, you can always use the cores, but you want 3 to 4 pounds of fruit per gallon of wine. 3-gallon batch, I want 9 to 12 pounds of fruit. So let's just fast forward this and finish this pineapple. Oh my God, if you could smell this house right now. I love pineapple. It's my favorite wine to make. Now, one thing I didn't discuss is, do you need different amounts of fruit for a high ABV wine? No, you're using the same amount of fruit, 3 to 4 pounds. That's it. So we just finished cutting our pineapples, and you see all these scraps. Don't throw these away. I got a whole video how to make tapache, because believe it or not, this skin has a lot of yeast. All right, we got our pineapple in. Now all we want to do is fill this up with water. And that's going to get that fermentation process started. Tapache is a Mexican fermented pineapple drink. It is amazing. I'll put a link in the description, because that's what I'm going to be using some of this for. And a lot of you who live in warm climate, you can just replant these and you'll get your own pineapple plant. Look at this pineapple. This is amazing. I gotta taste one. It's so ripe and sweet. That's what you want for pineapple wine. You want ripe pineapples. Just for a little bit of information, on a pineapple, after you skin it and clean it and core it, you're gonna get about 2.5 to 3 pounds of fruit per pineapple. So depending on the size you get, may get more, you may get less. Now it's just time to get this high ABV Chipotle pineapple wine going and get our regular pineapple going. Let's get everything put together. So now all I'm doing is following through in my book here, the recipe. I got the regular pineapple in here with the scan code. You can scan it and follow along with one of my other pineapple videos I got, because I've done this many times because it is my favorite wine to make. Now, the first thing we want to add is acid blend. Again, this is just going to balance your wine, so that's why I'm adding it. You want 1/2 teaspoon per gallon. So again, these are 3-gallon batches. I'm putting 3 1/2 teaspoons in each one of these. It's the same for the high ABV one and just our regular pineapple. There we go. Wine tannin, a must if you're not using grapes. You usually, 9 times out of 10, you want to use tannins. I always use it for all my wines, except for grapes. So again, 1/2 teaspoon per gallon. We want 3 in each one of these. 3. Pectic enzyme. This is just going to help with hazing. If you have like a hazing in your wine, this is just going to help. And a lot of pineapple will have a lot of pectin in. So this pectic enzyme will help with that. We want 1/2 for each one, 3 in each one, 1/2 teaspoon per gallon of wine. That's it, pectic enzyme. The next additive, yeast nutrient. This is going to help feed our yeast. We're not adding the yeast quite yet. We're going to add that in about 24 hours, but this is going to help kickstart it. This is a brand new bottle. I got to open this thing. 3 1/2 teaspoons in each one. That yeast is going to be happy. Happy wine. The last thing, it's a must. Do not skip it. It comes in 2 different forms. Sodium Camden tablets. You need 1 per gallon of wine. Or sodium metabisulfate. They are one and the same. This is a powder form. Goes a lot farther than your Camden tablets and very cheap. But this makes it easier to measure out. So I'm going to use Camden tablets today. I like to use the powder form when I'm bottling because we use that again at the end. The best way to get your Camden tablets into your thing here is crushing them between 2 spoons. So I'm going to put 3 in each one of these and 3 over here. That's it, Camden tablets. That's all our additives. I got a whole video on additives. If you want to understand these and why they're safe and why you need them, make sure you're watching it. All right, it's time to get stuff put together here. I got one of my mesh bags and I'm gonna put that, it's been sanitized. You can see it's still soaking wet. And we're gonna put a mesh bag on each one of these to put our fruit in. It's gonna save you a lot of time using these things. And these are reusable. You can see this one's stained from, I think, the strawberry wine. Don't worry about it. As long as they don't have holes, they're fine to use. There we go. Let's get our fruit in here. So now you can tell we haven't done anything different from this batch of wine, our high ABV, versus this one yet. It's coming. All right, here we go. This works again. 2 people, a little bit better, but I think I can manage. There's our pineapple in this one. This is just going to be my regular wine, and this is going to be my high ABV Pineapple Chipotle Wine. I got to get some Chipotles now. Now, these are the Chipotles I'm going to use. If you read my recipe, we need 4 per gallon. These are 3-gallon batches, so I want 12 of these. Oh my God, they smell delicious. 5, 6, 11, 12, perfect. Now, all I'm going to do is just basically I'm cutting these to open them up so the seeds can be released in the flavor. So These small ones I'm just gonna cut into 3. That one's kind of small. These bigger ones, I'll go 3 pieces. If you could smell these, oh my goodness. We're gonna get that smokiness in this wine. That's our goal. That looks pretty good. All these will come out in our wine. That's what we want. Get them in the bucket. Now it's time to get these closed up. Again, this one here is the Chipotle, the high ABV wine we're trying to make. And look at these. I've showed you these on some of my videos. I'm using a red tie here, so I know this one's gonna be the spicy one. These things are great and reusable. Watch that video if you haven't seen it. I just use this as an extra precaution. And again, these are reusable too. So there's one, and here is our regular pineapple. We're gonna get closed up. Yellow for pineapple. There we go. Now, hopefully you can see this. It's crystal clear. That's what you want. It's cooled to room temperature. This is the small one, which means it goes into our regular pineapple. This is the one that has 2 pounds of sugar per gallon of wine. This one's got 2.5 pounds of sugar because we want to get this as high as I want to. There we go. Now I'll show you what we're gonna do next. Now with experience, I know about how much water to add, but you just wanna do this a little bit at a time. I wanna get this batch somewhere between 9 and 12% if possible. So I'm gonna start with that. Remember, we got those additives on the bottom. We wanna stir those in here. And we'll be stirring this for the next couple of days. So you just do the best you can. This will all get incorporated eventually. I know I'm gonna need a lot more water, but I'll just show you here a little bit. And then what we're gonna do is put our hydrometer. You gotta have a hydrometer in this hobby to be successful. So the hydrometer here, most of them have like a potential. That's what we're gonna deal with today because it's the easiest, especially if you're new. The other batch, we're gonna have to use specific gravity on that one, and I'll show you when we get to there. So let's just float this in here and see where we're at. We're way, way, way high yet. We're at 20%, so we gotta add more water. You keep doing this a little at a time until you get it where you want. Again, 12% is ideal for us. It may not be for you. Each time you add water, mix it and test again. That's 15. We're getting closer. I think I'm gonna need a little more water here. Add water, stir, and check. That's exactly 12%. I'll get a close up, and that's where I'm stopping on this one. Now, let's talk about our ABV, our high ABV wine we're trying to get with this Chipotle pineapple. You all know I love Red Star. This has a tolerance of ABV somewhere to 15 to 18%. Why I'm doing this is I am trying to also test this to see how high I can get it. I'm going to get this potential to 20% by adding water until I get there. We'll check with our hydrometer and get exactly what ABV we got it to. We're shooting for 20%. I don't know if we'll get there, but I'm hoping we can at least get somewhere between 15 and 18. So I added enough water. I overshot 20, but I'm about 19 and a half. So on our hydrometer, what we want to do is most of this is probably not going to be converted to alcohol. Remember, I said that tolerance is 15 to 18. So that's where I expected to go. So if you look at the hydrometer and you go over to 19.5%, that's basically a specific gravity of 1.140. When this is done fermenting, the bubbler has stopped. We'll test it again and see where we're at. We'll do the math, and then we'll see exactly what this rocket fuel wine Chipotle pineapple is going to be. Let's just get the lids on here and come back in 24 hours. Sanitized airlocks, filled to the proper level, about the middle for this type. We gave them a final stir before we put the lids on. Now we got to wait 24 hours before we put the yeast in, because if you put it in now, it's not going to survive. Those Camden tablets will kill it. And also, those Camden tablets are sanitizing our fruit just in case there's any bacteria or anything in that. That's why I say it's a must. See you in 24. Boom. All right, it's been exactly 24 hours. I switched these airlocks out so I can show you as we move forward here. But it's time to get this Red Star yeast into both of these. Let's get them opened up. Oh my God, if you could smell these. This Chipotle, you're really starting to smell that smokiness in here. Remember, the Chipotle is the spicy wine. And we're just gonna give these a little mix, and then we're gonna get our yeast in. I'll show you what we're gonna do. So there's the Chipotle, and here is our regular pineapple. Oh my God, if you could smell this one, it still is a favorite of mine. Now, all we want to do is we don't want to stir this in. We need 1 pack for a 3-gallon batch. So I'm just going to sprinkle it in wherever I see wine, just like this. 1 pack for each one of these. And there's the other. Just get the wine. That's all you need. So that's it. We're going to get our lids back on. I got the red for the spicy with that cap, and then the regular here for this. There we go. 24 hours, we'll come back and we should start to see movement here. Fast forward. All right, it's been 24 hours since we added that yeast. Believe it or not, even before stirring, we're starting to see a little fermentation happening. You can tell by the bubbler here how the one side is higher. That means it's being forced out of here. Same over here with this Chipotle wine. Oh my goodness, you should smell the pineapple in this. Got my sanitized paddle. You can see we're starting to see some foam before even stirring this. So we're gonna give it a quick stir. This is really gonna kickstart this. In 24 hours from now, we're gonna see lots of foam. Look at this one over here. You can really see it on the sides here. That's all we're gonna do. Stir this for the next couple days. You wanna get oxygen in here. That's what's gonna make this yeast bloom. Get the lids back on and see you in 24. All right, it's been 24 hours since we put this yeast in. You can see they're really starting to bubble. We want to open this up and now stir this in, and we should see a lot of foam at this point. Let's get them open. All right, here's the regular pineapple you can see by the yellow tag, but do you see all this? This is the yeast along the side. We want to stir this and get this back in there because this is yeast that's alive and creating our alcohol for this wine. Well, let's check this other one out. This is the Chipotle, the spicy wine, the first spicy wine we ever did on this channel. You can see by the red tag there that I have on. So again, I'm just scraping the sides, getting all this yeast back in here. But do you see all the foam? I can really smell the Chipotle in there. This is gonna be a different wine for you to try. So that's all I'm gonna do. I stir this. I'm gonna stir this until that bubbler slows down to about every 15 seconds, and then I'm not gonna stir it anymore. Fast forward. All right, it's been about 10 days. Fermentation has really slowed down. You can see these, it's about every 30 seconds. I know it's time to get into our secondary and letting it finish in there. I can't wait to see what this pineapple Chipotle tastes like and what the ABV came out. Let's just get started. But right now, I want to get the pineapple. I want to test to make sure our specific gravity is at 1.0. That's when we know it's ready to get into secondary to finish up. So now we're going to open this up, and what I'm going to do is take my sanitized paddle here. We don't want to disturb anything in here. I'm just going to slide this over, and I'm going to get some wine and put it into my cylinder here and checking to see what the specific gravity is. We're shooting for a 1.0. Remember, this started out at about a 12% ABV, and if we get to 1.0, that's what the ABV will be. Let's get a close up here. All right, let's drop their hydrometer in here and see what our reading is. We're hoping it goes all the way to the bottom. I don't have it, well, yeah, I do have enough wine in there. You can see, I'll get you a close up, but we're exactly 1.0. I know it's time to get into the carboy. Now that I know this wine is ready, we achieved our 12% AB for the pineapple vine. It's time to rack it, get it in the carboy. I'm gonna fast forward through this, because I want to get to the other one and see where that's at. All right, so you see we just finished the pineapple wine there. We got it topped off. Now I want to check out this one and see what our high ABV reading is gonna be. I can't wait. All right, let's get the lid off. Let's see where we're at. If this got to the 19.5% ABV we started at, I'll be surprised, because remember, the tolerance of the wine was only up to, I think, 18%, or the tolerance of the yeast, I should say. So let's get the hydrometer here and get some juice in here. Oh my God, it smells amazing. This could be your new favorite wine. And it's a much different color also. It does have like that smoky chipotle look to it, in my opinion. I think I got too much in there. So I'm gonna sit this down and we'll show you what the reading's gonna be. Sanitized hydrometer. Let's go. Go all the way to the bottom, I dare you. Nope, didn't think so. So now we got to calculate to see where our ABV is. So I'm going to get to that point and show you here. So here's a close-up of this. You can see the reading is at a 1.030. Now, if I go to my ABV calculator that I like to use, it's called Brewer's Friend, and you put in an original specific gravity, which was at that 19.5%. Original specific gravity is 1.1458 when we started, and we just put in the final gravity 1.0300. Our alcohol by volume for this particular yeast is 15.20. That's a high ABV wine. Now, since the yeast couldn't convert all that sugar to alcohol, since we didn't get to that 1.0 specific gravity, I would suspect this wine would be a little bit sweet. And that's what I want to do. I can't wait to taste this pineapple chipotle. It smells fantastic. You really smell the chipotles in that. Wow. Wow. It's got spice to it. My wife is going to go nuts over this thing. You know it's a high ABV wine. Wow, I can't even describe this. It's spicy, no doubt about it, but it's the perfect spice. And you get that smoky taste after the initial taste, and then you can taste that alcohol. You know it's a high ABV. It's a sipping wine. I'm speechless because it's fantastic. I would like to enter this into the contest, but I don't know if they would appreciate a spicy wine, the judges. This might be my new favorite wine, and it's in my book. If you want the recipe, it's in there. Get the book, because I teach you everything about winemaking in this thing. And this one is over the top. I need to get it in the carboy. I might start another batch of this stuff. When you're racking your wine, you don't want to disturb the bottom as much as possible. So you just don't stir it at this point. Let it do its thing and get some of that yeast out. You'll see at the bottom of this bucket, I'll show you how much yeast we got out, but that's it. I'm racking this into here. I'm going to do a wrap. I'll finish this, put it up here, and I can't wait for Laura to try this. And the cool thing about this is because we didn't get all that sugar converted to alcohol and it's semi-sweet, I'm not going to have to back sweeten this. I guarantee you, it's perfect as it is for the sweetness that I like it. Maybe not you. See all that des yeast? That's what you're trying to get out in your first racking. You want to get as much as possible each time. So there you have it. Chipotle, pineapple, and pineapple. You can see why they call it secondary. This is trying to kick up again fermentation, but there's very little sugar to convert. You want to make this. It's in my book. Watch it. Make it. Till next time, have a great day. See ya.
Get wilder. We could get a little wilder. Take some clothes, but leave our phones. It's better with someone than it is alone. Let's get wilder.